They said I should be arrested upon arrival back in the UK, and by saying this they highlighted the exact problems that exist right now in the UK. Hi everyone, I'm Sam, an English guy living in provincial Russia. In today's video we're going to talk about the things that I said with regard to the problems that are facing the UK, and then the response that I had, which was, well, pretty crazy. So you can see that this house has got the mosaics on the side, like a swimming pool essentially. I always wondered, why do some houses have mosaics and others not? Perhaps this was more prestigious to live here in this one, and so perhaps people of better jobs or something lived here, I don't know. So we're going to take a little walk around this neighborhood, do a bit of a walk and talk, see if we see anything interesting along the way, and at the same time discuss that video that I made, which I thought was a pretty good video, and I'd say about 70% of you agreed with me as well, but some of you didn't. Now, the main point that I made in that video was that in the UK there are tough decisions to be made. The UK has changed an awful lot over the last 30-40 years, and I guess people that were born in the 50s and 60s, they'll say it's changed a lot since that time. But in the UK there are real big decisions that need to be made with regards to wokeism and immigration, amongst other things. But it's going to take a really strong leader to stand up and say and admit those problems, because as we know, with woke culture, you cannot say what you think, you have to say what you're told to think, because if you say what you think, then you can get cancelled. I really like these boards here. This is exactly the kind of thing I want in my house on the walls, and this effect too. Now this has been done just to insulate the house, right? But I actually want like this on my interior walls. Interesting. It's interesting how some things that are just kind of old, and you know, they didn't try to even make them nice, are actually the same style that people then pay for lots of money to make things look old. What a beautiful day for a walk in provincial Russia. Now, I'm a British citizen, right? I was born in the UK and I love the UK. But just like anyone else, we see that everything has changed, and perhaps not for the better. And so I have the right to voice my opinion, just like anyone else does. But some people do not like me voicing my opinion. In fact, they're pretty angry with me. So over here in this side of town, there are lots of 5-floor apartment blocks. And it's interesting, what have we got here? We've got like a pond, got a kind of seating areas and stuff. Here it says it's prohibited to walk onto the ice. I wonder if you have one of these in the UK, would it be considered exotic? In Russia you quite often find this, an area with lots of big apartment buildings and then a few small private houses, and obviously just kind of like that's the view, right? It's interesting. Now eventually these will probably end up on the scrap heap and the land will be purchased by someone else, and they'll build a big house here, and people look at these houses and think they're really romantic, and it's kind of like, I don't know, the gingerbread man or whatever, but I don't know if they are that romantic, to be honest. So on YouTube you always get haters. You always get haters, that's just normal, right? But these haters actually shot themselves in the foot by saying that I deserve to be arrested upon arrival in the UK for simply voicing my opinion about the things that I don't like about how the UK has changed. Shows exactly what's wrong with the UK. These people actually think that I should be arrested. So what they're saying is, how dare I say anything bad about the country that I'm from? If you do, you deserve to be arrested. So I'm currently trying to do 10,000 steps a day, and so I'm really enjoying these videos because obviously the weather's really nice, the sun's out, it's a little bit cold, but it's really cool. I wonder if anyone's still living here. In fact, it's got loads of plants inside. Wow. And then this is a neighbour, and this has been in this condition for many years, maybe 15, 20 years I'd say. When did it become like this? That British people think that if you dare to say anything bad about the place that you're from, you deserve to be arrested. That's pretty crazy. Now, the craziest thing is that they're saying to me, oh, you live in Russia, right? In Russia, you can't say anything, you can't do anything. But in the UK, it's free. You can be completely free here, and the things you're saying are lies. And therefore, by having the opinion that you have, you deserve to be arrested. Well, doesn't that contradict exactly what you're saying? If I'm allowed to say anything I want, why am I being arrested for saying what I want? And why do you, a person from the UK, think that anyone who criticises the UK should be arrested? That's shocking. For sale. How did we get to this stage? The stage in our mindset where we agree just to obey everything they say on the news. That's insane. So they can say that we should believe this, that we should do that, and even though we don't agree, we have to not only agree, but tell others to agree too. Otherwise, they'll have problems. What do you think of these houses here? Have you seen any styles of houses that you like? We haven't heard many dogs yet today. Just heard one now, but he's not being very vocal. Now, unfortunately, it's because of people like this in the UK that it's impossible for it to change. It's impossible for it to change because these people, they're so liberal that they refuse to have anyone criticise anything. And therefore you can't change anything, because if you want to change something, they'll criticize you too. I know if you watch videos about Russia, then typically you're going to see this. If you go and watch a Bored and Bankrupt video, then he's going to say, hey, this is life outside of Moscow, but he's not going to show you the house opposite. This is quite interesting, isn't it? Full of contrast, Russia, completely full of contrasts. And so a lot of people say to me, well, how can you talk about anything? You live in Russia, right? Well, let me tell you this to you. In Russia we have the exact opposite. We don't have woke culture at all. And if you want to fit in Russia, then you have to obey and abide by not just the laws, but the rules and the culture. You're not going to get people like, we've got a holiday coming up in 2 days time. It's the end of winter holiday called Maslenitsa, where they burn a doll to celebrate the end of winter. I think it might have originally been a pagan ritual, but I think the doll burning was you know, not a doll but like a guy. That's what I mean, the guy, like bonfire night in the UK. But I think it was the actual burning of it was adopted in the Soviet Union. I love the little arch around the door and the windows. You can see they've made some flower pots out of old tyres. Look how many different materials we've got here in this house, and it's been built over different time periods. We've got some hieroglyphics there in the window, of course, but you will not see any protests at the Maslenitsa festival. That is not going to happen. It's a Russian cultural event. People come to Russia because they like Russia and they want to fit in with Russia. They want to, you know, I learn the Russian rules, the Russian customs, and if you don't like it here, then you can leave. Just like those women who are kind of overly suspicious about me filming cats on the street, right? Why are you filming those cats? What are you doing wrong, foreigner, right? And so it's a completely different world, right? Here, you've got to fit in, you've got to be and do what Russia is about and not what you want to do, right? If you don't like Russia, then leave. Fine, go somewhere else where you want to be. Over here we've got someone collecting water. So are we going to have some cat cam, or am I going to scare these guys off? This dude's coming to me. Hey! Yo! So I just had a woman shout out the window at me and say, "Why are you filming? Why are you filming the cats? For what? What are you filming them for?" And then the lady behind me is giving me evils like, "What are you doing here? How dare you film the cats?" Russian people support Russia, the country. Some people will love the current president, some people won't. But all of them support Russia, the country, Russia, the traditions, Russia, the customs. And this is really important. And so wokeness and all these other liberal type thoughts don't exist here. Now, obviously, some things are good, right? I think the UK wanted to go down the right path and create equality, and that was good. But the UK have become what I am, and that isn't a good thing. Unfortunately, I'm a nice guy, and nice guys finish last, right? Nice guys, well, they get taken advantage of. And that, in essence, is what the UK is now. UK is Mr. Nice Guy. So I've got a video coming up on these railings. Pretty crazy. In fact, we should probably come here and test these ones out too. And the sad thing about the UK is that instead of addressing the problems that it actually has, well, what they want to do, according to a lot of people, is arrest me, a simple person who loves his country, who was born in the UK, who has so many amazing memories of the place, so many great friends, family there, loves the football culture, the food, loads of things about the UK, but wants to make problems for me because I dared to say my opinion. And as we know, that's forbidden. I'm trying to find a way out of this maze. I hope there's a way out this way. Oh, looks like there is. So, will I be cancelled? I hope not, but perhaps I will be, because as a lot of the people said in the comments from the UK, if I speak out, then I deserve to be cancelled.